What's up, everyone? I am here with UFC Bantamweight Vince Morales coming off a huge win against Louis Smolka a few weeks back at the beginning of December. Personally, I don't know what you think. I think it's probably the biggest win of your UFC career, I'd say. So what's life been like for you since the big win?
Been good, man. A little more attention than I'm used to. So yeah, it's definitely got that big win feel. So you were right with that. It's been good, man. Just getting things in line. Just getting back to training. So hopefully I can get back in there February, March or something.
That's awesome. Now, you also mentioned that you're going through a move right now. So is that like a switch gyms kind of thing, or just kind of locating your
Uh,
house?
we actually just got a house here in Vegas, so we're officially Las Vegans.
That's awesome. Congratulations, Nevada resident. So now you do most of your training at the Performance Institute?
I do most of like half of it there, and then I go over to Syndicate, and I've been working with John Wood for like what's that been like a year and a half almost now.
Okay, so when you're over at the PI, do you have any crazy like celebrity run-ins? I know I've seen Shaq there, The Rock's been there. Any crazy sightings?
The biggest one we probably seen was we were mid strength and conditioning workout, and Conor McGregor comes strolling through doing his walk, and he looked over at me and my girlfriend who was working out with me at the time, and he said, "What's up to us?" before we said anything. So I'm like, "Oh, look at this! Hey, ain't that it?"
That's good. I remember Claudia Gadella, who actually just retired, but I remember the video a few years back went viral. Like she grappled Shaq in the octagon. She's like 5'2", and he's whatever he is, 7'4". I think she choked him though, so I think gave her like a grand too. So I don't know. Maybe you just start challenging all the celebrities that walk through.
I had to keep. Oh, actually, I saw Mario Lopez rolling through there one day too.
Okay, that's
Actually, yeah.
awesome. So your last opponent, Louis Smolka, he
Mhm.
actually had to pull out of a fight versus Sean O'Malley. Now I know that's someone who your cousin Ricky Simone just called out, but now that you beat Smolka, he was supposed to fight O'Malley. Is that a fight that interests you, or?
Of course. Pretty much any bigger name in the division interests me, but he's particularly somebody I was watching for a couple years. Where I'm like, yeah, I'd fight that guy, and I actually made that case after the fight too, saying that if Smolka is good enough to fight O'Malley, and I just beat Smolka, it makes sense. And
Yeah.
O'Malley likes those unranked guys. Like, I'm unranked. Let's go,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah, you fit right in. Speaking of your cousin Ricky Simone, he's coming off another huge win. So the family's
Yeah.
on a crazy hot streak. So
Oh,
what's that going to be like at the holidays?
it's awesome, man. He actually hung out with his dad. Actually, got married the next day after his fight. So I got to run in with everybody while they were here in Vegas and stuff. So that was kind of cool. They just left, went back home, but I got to spend some good time with them, and that was real awesome. I plan to make a trip up there, maybe at the beginning of the next camp, and get some work up there with him.
That's great. Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's got to be no greater vibes at a family function than when two of the cousins are coming off UFC victories, impressive
Uh,
ones.
yeah, both big ones too. I think those are both probably our biggest moments in the UFC thus far. So it's cool, man. Like we still get to bounce ideas off each other, and we're in this together. So it's
Yeah.
still bump knuckles, and there we go.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, and I feel like your careers are kind of like right on that same trajectory too. It's not you're like right on that equal plane. So like since you are on that equal plane, he's ranked 13th. I think about this a lot with in your same division, Aljamain Sterling and Marab. Like they're both teammates. Aljo's the champ right now. Marab like knocking right at the door. So I think like what do you do if you're Marab? Like say you win enough fights, and then there's no denying you should be next in line.
Uh,
But if your best friend's the champ, like, do you fight him? So, like, is that a concern? I mean, I guess it's kind of the goal for you and Ricky to get to that point, but it's also kind of a concern.
yeah, I mean, if it's not necessarily a concern. We're family, so it's easier to be like, no, we're family. We're not going to be fighting. And he always says that. I always joke that, yeah, I beat him up, but that's just the older cousin in me. So no, but we'd never get in there, and maybe if we agreed like we can just have a real good fight of the night and just get after it for like
Yeah.
a good session for 5 rounds for a belt or something. But no, actually, Marab was talking about if he gets in that title contention and that title talk, he's looking at going down to flyweight.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that
So
makes sense because if
I'm,
you're in
I'm
your
I'm not very big either. Maybe I'd do the same thing. I don't know. Ah, it don't matter. Whatever.
yeah, because I feel like it is one of those weird things. Like if you're in your
Yeah.
prime, but you're not going to fight the guy above you, then you got to make some sort of move. But and also that Marab Ricky fight on the side is one of my favorite ever. One of the craziest finishes I've ever seen to a fight.
Craziest finishes. I bet you they're on a their careers are colliding again here pretty soon, probably just because they're both top of the division right now. So
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So now with you though, your second to last fight, it was really close. You ended up getting the decision. I thought you won the fight, but it was definitely, it was right there. Probably could have gone either way. And then you come out in this next one, first round KO. So where did you feel any improvement in the training, or was it just kind of the way the fight played out?
Yeah, I've definitely been feeling consistent improvement since I've been training over at Syndicate, which has been great. I think it showed a little bit in the fight with Draco, and I think some of that it just kind of accumulated to a good point for this fight. Yeah, that was a pretty close fight, and I was looking to make a statement in that one, and I was still hunting that same thing. And granted, now that I got a big win, I'm still hunting for another one, so I can already feel. Oh, it's here we go again.
Yeah. So now, kind of just to ask you kind of a random question, I feel like, a professional athlete who lives in the gym might be the right guy to ask. I have a gym etiquette related question for you. So I'm at the gym today, right? My gym just has one like regular squat rack for the whole thing. I'm gonna get on it. Some people come over and say, we're on it. Like, okay, like whatever. There's no like indicator that they were using it. It was empty, but you're not gonna start a fuss at the gym.
Yeah.
Now keep in mind, one rack for the whole gym, and then they use it to shoulder press when there's like a million different shoulder press machines. So am I kind of uptight for being a little annoyed at that? Or do we think like as a gym going man yourself, like
We're fighting.
You'd fight them?
At that point, we're fighting. Get out of here. Oh, no. Probably let them do their thing. And just for the most part, usually it's easier being the person that's like making fun of them, really like these assholes. But definitely I don't like that. That's kind of stuff that irks me, and now I judge that person every time I see him.
Yeah. Is there any like I mean, obviously Syndicate's a huge gym with a ton of pro fighters, but is there any like etiquette things in that type of setting that you'll see that or bother you or get on your nerves?
It is practice fighting essentially. So a lot of times you can see egos get involved and a slugfest will break out. So every now and then, especially, bro, we used to have Sean Strickland training there. So of course it's going to be right. It was always kind of crazy. I was never involved in any of that. I tend to be probably one of the like fairly easy to work with. So it's nothing for me. But yeah, you definitely see that in gyms where it becomes more than a physical fight. Now it's ego fight. And,
yeah.
That stuff drives me crazy. I'm like, come on now.
Yeah,
I feel like that puts a cap on like your own growth in the gym anyways, because now we're not looking at trying things. You're only looking at landing. So it limits the growth.
That's really interesting. I've also always wondered in like the sparring settings, especially in a big gym like Syndicate where everyone's preparing, a lot of people preparing for high level UFC fights. Say you're training with a guy, is it hard like once you get in there to emulate the guy he's supposed to be fighting? Because obviously you're going to be at your best when you're being yourself, but if you're supposed to emulate, a guy that fights like Aljamain Sterling different than you, is it hard to like stay almost in character as opposed to when you're just being yourself?
When you start getting beat up, yeah. But like, so it depends on your training partners. Because for me, I don't care about people emulating who I'm supposed to fight. Like it's me. It's on me to make the adjustments. So do your best. I'm gonna adjust, and that's how I like to do it. Other people, they tend to, hey, can you move like this? He throws this or whatever, which is all good too. Too much of that, I think is a bad thing. So it's whatever. I have fun trying to emulate. It allows me to try some new stuff. Yeah, like I said, until you start getting hit, then it's like, all right, cool, back to my stuff.
Are you a big like film guy, or do you just kind of go in and, like you said, just adjust to what's happening?
I used to not. I used to be like pretty against film because I'd get like fairly obsessed, and then now I can't like stop thinking about it and stuff. So I'm trying to grow from that. So I'm trying to give myself like a certain amount of time to like actually study some tape, maybe just get a feel of tendencies and kind of timing and just those kind of things that don't change, because a lot of times if you're looking for like a glaring hole, the next fight, that one might be fixed. So yeah, I watch for like smaller, more subtle things, and then just kind of get an idea of it. And then I go into the training room and just with that kind of stuff in mind without having it consume my entire practice.
Yeah, I think it's what I've heard a lot of fighters say. Like you look for some of that stuff, but then if you're just looking for one specific thing and then it's not there, you're kind of fucked.
Yeah, exactly. Put you in a hole, I think so.
Yeah. So then, this weekend, aside from the big Black Beast knockout, I feel like the talk of the whole combat sports world's obviously been on this Jake Paul, Tyron Woodley fight. So were you able to catch that, and what'd you think?
What was I doing? I think I was out with my with the family, and when that happened, is that right? Yeah, I think I was out with the family when that happened, and so I just saw like the Twitter clip of Tyrone getting KO'd. Man, he got cracked with that punch. That broke my heart. Ugh.
Yeah. Yeah, it was devastating.
Yeah, that was rough. And for somebody like who's kind of a clown in a tool bag, like that bugs me. Ugh. But
Yeah.
one thing he's doing though, I am seeing like a lot more people who this is where I'll give him like some sort of props, because there's a lot of people that don't know anything about combat sports that are now starting to like, it's getting their eyes a little bit, which the more eyes, the more opportunity for, hey, this other thing sticks out to me. And now maybe it's helping develop a bigger fan base stuff. Maybe, I'm hoping so. That's me trying to find a positive, what I think is a fairly shit situation.
Yeah. I mean, does it annoy you? I feel like it's weird because one thing, a lot of fighters who are fighters first might devolve into like YouTubers, or not YouTubers, you know, some sort of media career. Like DC does commentating, and I know
Right,
Israel
right.
Adesanya is big on YouTube, but you never see the YouTuber come over to be a fighter. So as like a lifelong martial artist, is there any part of you that's irked by like, this guy's been doing this, you know, a fraction of the time I have, but just because he was big doing something completely different, now he has these giant, you know, he's kind of one of the biggest stars in combat sports,
Yeah.
but without even close to being as talented as the other guys at the top.
Yeah, it's a little what's the word I'm looking for? Like I don't want to say bitter. It's not bitter. It's like it's a little odd. It's because it almost seems like it's somebody who hasn't really paid their dues. But I do know he has some wrestling background, so he's been involved with that. It's just never been like, that stuff's never been the highlight point of who he is. So I don't know. I don't think too much about it, just because if I'd seen him, I'd probably smack him. Just kidding. A little bigger than me, but yeah, I don't know. It is what it is. The more, at least he's trying. At least he's in there, like literally putting himself in there to fight. Granted, he's like cherry picking MMA guys to take out of their sport and go to boxing, which is, yeah, that's like the worst thing for me so far. I was really hoping Tommy Fury was going to put a whooping on him, because there's, like you were saying, there's a difference when there's people who've done this like since they were young. So, like, and that's Tommy Fury. Tommy Fury has been in the game forever. So I think it would expose some of those some of these new fighters, like what Jake Paul is.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you definitely can't deny he's getting better, but like you said, he's still cherry picking these matchups and all that stuff. But I had to say, if it does come down to it in the street, and it's like a tag team match between Vince Morales and Ricky Simone versus the Paul brothers, I think we know where my money's going all day.
They get beat.
So thanks again so much for coming on. Your third time. Our first recurring guest was you, and now you're our first ever 3-time guest. So we love that. So yeah, loyalty for sure. I gotta ask, what do you think? Coming off 2 big wins, most impressive performance of your career. When are you looking to get back in there, and do you have any names in mind?
I would like, for me, I think, we'll see, like end of February, March. I think it's a good time, because I'm already, like I was saying, I'm already back into like training mode and already hungry to fight again. Like, just watching the fights gets me going. So yeah, I think that's fair enough time where I can get like a full camp, quote unquote, in. So I would like that. As far as whoever really, after the fight, I mentioned Nathaniel Wood, but I think he's got an opponent now. So I don't know. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Just get me back in there.
Yep. And you know what? First round knockout, the turnaround time is can be a lot quicker than, as opposed to, you know, the fight against Draco, where it was a hard fought war.
Yeah. That I agree. So yeah, I'm already ready to get back in there.
Yeah, and I think we're all excited to see you. So thanks so much for coming on, man, and best of luck when you get back in there.
Appreciate it, man. It was good talking to you. Let me know when you want to talk again.
Of course. Good talk.